Here we go. Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Economics of Healthy Living. I'm Laura Hopkins, and I hope that you are excited about this topic because so many people in the past have come to me and said, Laura, I really love the idea of having a healthy lifestyle, but so expensive. And I really feel like that is just such a misnomer. I feel like we make time for it and we make priorities financially for what we want. And you know, some of it's convenience, some of it's, you know, the just taking the time to plan ahead. But ultimately, the economics of healthy living is really all about making some choices and deciding what you're going to do. And I believe that we can, you know, all of us have budgets and want to work within that budget, but we all make priorities for the things that are important to us. So I hope that healthy living is a priority to you, and that tonight I'm going to give you some tips that will be very helpful on your journey to a healthier lifestyle. So as we get started here, oops, why am I not moving forward? Okay, we're going to hit play now. The economics of healthy lifestyle is based off of Psalm 139, 14. For I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I believe that our body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, as it says in 1 Corinthians 6:19, and that everything I put in my temple, I want to be honoring. So that means food I eat. That means the water I drink. That even means my skin being my largest organ. I want everything that I put on my earthly vessel to be something would be honoring to God. And I don't take that lightly. Have I always been perfect in that? No, but knowing is the first start, and making a conscious choice and decision is the second part of that. So what does it mean to live healthy? Well, like I just said, I believe our body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. But if you think about it from a scientific standpoint, we're absorbing, I'm going to try to move this box here. Oops. We're absorbing all the chemicals through our skin and our lungs and things that we're ingesting. Abundant health is not only just physical, it's also emotional and spiritual, because we understand that our emotions and the way that we perceive things is actually affecting us on a physical manifestation level. So whenever you are depressed and you're sick, or you have anger, or you are dealing with things, grief, you can physically become sick based off of the emotional standpoint that you're going through, the emotional hardships that you're experiencing. So that's why when you're going through difficult times, it's even better to have a good, solid foundation for health, and to be able to be nourishing your body and helping your emotional health to improve as your physical body also improves. So it's a whole person perspective. So what do you put in your temple? Are you what you eat? I used to talk about this and showed the slide of the French fries and hamburger, and say that the average college student has 2 vegetables. The USDA, I think, recommends at least 2 servings of vegetables a day, or at the time it did. And the average college student had 0. But most people would consider potatoes and the ketchup they dip them in to be their 2 servings, which we know that's not a good idea of servings of vegetables. One thing that's super important for healthy life is water. You need water for everything. Your body can become so easily dehydrated. So many people suffer from migraines. When I was in college, I suffered from migraines, and one of the quickest, the doctor who actually spoke with me said, "How much water do you drink?" Which I'm so grateful for a doctor back, that was 20 years ago, or maybe a few more than 20, but the doctor who actually said, "You aren't drinking enough water." And that was really great, because rather than just putting me on a prescription or telling me this is what I needed, to take for the pain, she said, let's get to the root of it. So also your colon can become very dehydrated. So if you're dealing with issues with digestion or with irregular bowel situations, looking at how much water you're actually taking in, and how much of it you're taking in, or how little, can really affect that. So a good formula is to take your weight and divide it in 2. that's the number of ounces you need to be drinking every single day. Some people that seems a little daunting if you don't drink a lot of water, but once you get into the habit of it, I promise you, your body will crave it. A lot of people will look then into filters. There are a lot of filters on the market. We personally have a whole house filter because that was more economical. It was more expensive on the front end, but economically across the board, that's something that worked for us. You need to look into the cost of filters and the cost of replacement. So you might get a really cheap front end bargain, but how often are you going to be replacing those filters, and what is it even filtering out? What does your water supply have, and what are the things that need to be taken out? Also, add your Young Living Vitality oils to the water. For the people who have a little bit of difficulty taking all that water in, figure out maybe like lime oil or maybe like lemon, and maybe add a teensy bit of a drop of stevia to it to just help get used to the flavoring of something like water. If you're somebody who drinks a lot of carbonated beverages or a lot of flavored drinks, that might be a good starting point. And then just slowly start to take the sweetener out. And I tell you what, I can't drink I don't like sweet drinks at all. I'll have them every so often at a special occasion, but I love water. I love herbal teas. Those just, to me, are the best. So fruits and vegetables, here we go. This is the USDA recommends 7 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables daily. So there we go. The average American gets 2, the average college student 0. So this time of year, we're in spring going into, if you're watching this, it's May of 2019 when I'm recording this, but if you're watching it at a later date, the spring and summer, into the early fall are good times to get lots of fresh, living, raw fruits and vegetables. Why do we want that? Because they're packed full of enzymes. Not to say that you can't get good nutritional value out of cooked food as well, but if you look at the way that our ancestors lived and the way that they had to preserve and store food, those types of things were done because of when the food wasn't fresh. And so they would store it and they would preserve it for the winter time and whenever fresh fruits and vegetables didn't grow as abundantly as they do. And I'm talking about North America here, and this is common in a lot of the world. If you don't live close to the equator, you're not getting multiple growing seasons if you don't live in a tropical rainforest. So as far as the majority of people on earth, ideally 70% of your diet should be raw fruits and vegetables because of the nourishment that you're getting this time of year. And the other times of the year, we can't get that. But that's why your body wants to have a stockpile full of enzymes. If you don't have an enzyme source that you got either from your mom or from your own nutrition, you can take dietary enzymes. So Young Living has different options for you to use there. I'm not going to go into that. It's a whole nother class that I've already done. So you can check out the dietary enzymes as well. And it's a really good way to maximize. You're paying lots of money for that, for those organic fruits and vegetables, right? So you want to maximize every nutritional ounce of that food, and you can do that with your digestive enzymes. So what about organic? Is it organic or organic? My cousin actually gave me the idea for that name because he thought it was a little bit ridiculous. But the USDA actually has a protocol for organic. When you purchase from the store, I like to look for organic and then also non-GMO. Those are some of the labels that I look for. Another step closer, because you can purchase from the store, from the grocery store, is going to the farmer himself or herself. And that would be because it's expensive for small farms to be labeled organic. There are a lot of hoops they have to jump through. And actually, there's even some things that their herbicides and things are required to use that some farmers don't want to use. So get to know your local farmers. Get to know the people who are growing foods close to you. They might not be able to be labeled as organic, but if you can see their practices, if you can see what they're doing, if you can know that they're not using genetically modified seed, then that's a way to start. So how do you do that? So knowing the difference between non-GMO and USDA organic is really important. Look into those two. I personally, a lot of times, it depends on what the product is, but I a lot of times will go towards non-GMO just because I know there's organic seedless grapes and organic seedless watermelon. And to me, I'm not fully comfortable with the way that they're mass producing seedless produce. Okay, I'm just going to come out and say it. So I like to go to the non-GMO because I don't want my seed tampered with. And I believe that there's some good things outside of USDA organic that are starting to happen because competition creates, makes us better. So hopefully all around that this entire process will continue to get better. So be a locavore. So you've heard of carnivores and herbivores, but you can be a locavore. That means eating within about 200 miles of your food shed. So there's things called community supported agriculture. So you can get to know your local farmers. The communities, the CSA or community supported agriculture is basically you're subsidizing the farmer. So you pay a monthly, weekly, whatever it is to this farmer, and you can get a percentage of that crop, and you're with them in boom or in bust. So many years ago when I first started, when I was first a part of this, we had a really bad drought in Texas. And so, we helped support the farmers during that time. And then in the following, when everything started coming back, there was a boom year. So you go with them and both sides of that. Farmers markets are great because it's a good opportunity for you to go and meet some of those local farmers, get their contact directly, but they are charging a little bit more at those farmers markets sometimes because they have to pay for booths. They have to, it's a hassle. When you go to a vendor fair, people that are there are trying to connect with consumers. And so I go to vendor fairs as a book salesperson and with Young Living. So it always is a little frustrating when people say, oh, can I have your card and I'll contact you later? That can be good, but they want to say, oh, can I buy online? And you're like, I'm here, buy it now, because you've spent a lot of time and energy and money to get there in person. So farmers markets are great though. I love the farmers market. A co-op is something that's also really good. Where you can be a part of something cooperative, but you don't have to, you're not tied to something. So these are all different options. Where can you find these? Well, you usually can hear about a farmer's market at your local gardening supply, maybe your newspaper, wherever you're going to hear local news. The hardware or farm supply store in our communities have that information. Or if you're new to an area, like I was when I moved to rural East Texas almost 12 years ago, I went to localharvest.org and pickyourown.org. And it's really cool. I'm going to show you some screenshots from it of what I was able to find. So you can put in your zip code, your city, whatever you want to do. I'm giving this, I'll be doing this class next in Houston. So this is the screenshot that you have here. As you can see the farm, the farmer's market, restaurant, grocery, or other. So even when you're traveling, this is kind of cool because you can maybe see, I've used this before to search for like a restaurant that does local farm to market. So before there was Yelp, I had used this to check some things out. So you can find some pretty cool options. So as you can see, all of those little green triangles are farms. The reds are farmers markets. The blue are restaurants. Of course, that pink color, the magenta, is a grocery, and then that teal is other. So what does that mean?
Those are squares.
Get in there and look at them individually. I'm hearing somebody else, if you don't mind just making sure you're muted, and for some reason I can't get back to the main page here to mute you. So if everyone could just make sure to mute yourselves. That would be great. This is Pick Your Own. Now Pick Your Own is a little bit different. And is it as far as a little bit not as user friendly. So you go by your state, and then you go by county. And so it takes you through a little bit more detailed process. And then within that county, there's additional options. So we love to go and pick blueberries and strawberries in Texas. Some people can go get raspberries. I know my friends in Washington get cherries, apples. Pretty cool. So find some Pick Your Own farms. It's a fun activity. And usually we will go, when we pick blueberries in Texas in June and July, usually we can go and get several pounds. I'm talking 8 to 12 pounds of blueberries. And what they would charge for organic blueberries at the store is what we get, like in a pint, is usually what we pay per pound. So, and it's really cool because they don't mind as your kids eat them off the bushes. So it's kind of obvious. So, but we love to support our local farmers. So try to do that. And here's the other part of it, connecting with those people in your communities, and they might have an interest in supporting your business as well. Fresh is best. Another thing is, why don't you start gardening on your own? I have gardened before. I enjoy getting my hands dirty. I enjoy being on the farm. I don't have a farm, but that's just one of these goals in life. I just liked to be outside in the dirt. There's something about it. So get your kids involved. Kidsgardening.com has a really good primer out there, primer, if you will, on helping kids learn from a young age and maybe you might need that as well. I had to start with that and learning about maybe, let's start with some container gardening first and then move up into a bigger plot. Check the local library, community college, or maybe some continuing education courses, the master gardeners in your area. Our local librarian was highly involved in gardening, and she was the children's librarian, so she would bring in special speakers, and of course I would be up there every chance I could get. They talk about things like water storage and being able to get rainwater and how you can use that for your gardens. Lots of fun stuff that are out there. It can be really a good bonding opportunity for your whole family to, it teaches a lot of great lessons about persistence, about being faithful to take care of, pull the weeds out, lots of spiritual lessons there, and taking care of and waiting for that garden to grow. And then of course the bounty that you get at the end. You get to talk about all the good things that you're growing. If you have children that are a little resistant to certain fruits and vegetables, see if they can grow something. How cool is that? I also love to have herbs in pots. When we lived in town, I had herbs that sat on pots on my front porch. And so I'd ask my daughter at dinner time or when I'm making dinner, hey, let's go out and get some herbs. And eventually she would want to go out and get them by herself. What are you cooking with tonight? So that was kind of fun. So also, what about Ningxia Red? Are you drinking your whole fruit supplement? So Ningxia to me is vital for life. I don't know about you guys, all the antioxidants, and it's packed full of power. We drink it every day, but have you ever considered the value and the best way to purchase it? So if you're on Essential Rewards, if you get a Ningxia Red kit, you can save $46 right there. It is a phenomenal price. It is the most cost-effective way. So we're talking about the economics of healthy living. Don't buy your Ningxia. Friends don't let friends buy Ningxia in the single packets and a bottle at a time, 2 bottles at a time. You buy it on Essential Rewards and get your maximum. And look, you're also getting your points for that on Essential Rewards. It's to me, it's a no-brainer. I'm earning 25%. Anybody else out there earning 25% back on Essential Rewards? So you're getting 25% back, and you're getting the best value. It's just a total no-brainer. All right, what about meat? What about grass-fed versus grain-fed, cage-free, free range? What does all of this mean when it comes to meat and chicken? So meat sources, the reason why we don't, why we want cattle, if you're a beef eater, if you eat meat, you want a cow to have been grass-fed rather than grain-fed or grain-finished, because the grass has higher amounts of omega-3 fatty acids than omega-6s. The grain is higher in omega-6. So why does that matter? Well, it's because when you're out of balance, when you have higher omega-6s than omega-3s, that's not the ratio that you want. And what they're finding out is higher omega-6s can lead to neurological challenges and some brain issues. We see an entire generation of people now that are dealing with things like dementia and Alzheimer's. I'm not saying that's the cause of it, but I'm saying it doesn't help. So we want lots of good fatty acids that are in our body. So God made cattle to eat grass, not grain. And so why do they feed them grain? Because it fattens them up quicker. You're looking at an economy and industry that is trying to move cattle through. They want them bigger and more robust. The heavier they are, the more that they can get out of them for price. Let's just cut to the chase here. It's all about profit. So we want grass-fed beef because that's the best quality. We're not trying to be difficult consumers. It's the best quality. And for thousands of years, that's what people ate before man got involved and started making things unhealthy. What about chickens? Okay, so I live in a region of the world that raises a lot of chickens, and we see chicken houses everywhere. And so one thing that you have to understand is, even in an environment where it's free range, that might be an open door at the end of a chicken house. That chicken may not, we're not thinking like chickens hanging out in their lawn chairs under umbrellas drinking, lemonade. We're talking about they may never see the outdoors. It's hard for a chick to survive in the wild. There's lots of natural predators, and so when you start thinking of these chicken houses, they're built that way because they want to contain them and protect them, because that's a commodity. That's an animal that they're raising to be able to be produced for a profit. So when we start thinking about the free range, that's a new, and I shouldn't say new, it's a category that is of chickens that are allowed to be in a barnyard setting. So they are going to have more of, probably in smaller flocks. They're not going to be in the mass setting that you would see in those chicken houses. So they're going to be more expensive. But they're also going to be probably smaller birds. A lot of the chicken breasts and the things that we see nowadays that come through, if you even just look at the packaging, an organic chicken breast compared to a non-organic, just a traditional, excuse me, it's a huge difference. And they can create some things in poultry to make them grow faster and to give them these a lot more meat on the bone, if you will, that actually creates a lot of physiological issues. Like you're seeing chickens that can't even walk because they're so lopsided from a weight perspective. So just understand what you're getting and be knowledgeable. Just from living in the town that I live in, I see the chicken trucks pull in, the semi trucks with, if you've never seen them before, it's like hundreds of cages with chickens in them, and it's bad. And so I know there's probably some people on this call that are in the community that I'm in, so they could probably attest to that as well. But anyways, if you guys are interested in learning more about that, you can look into things like I don't know why my cursor is not working. It's disappeared. So I'm going to have to, I've got screens over my cursor here. So look at the local farm and ranch supply. Localharvest.org has farmers that you can get, go directly to them. You can get cattle. You can buy an entire cow. You can buy half a cow, a quarter. What we like to do is go in with another family, and we like to split the cost. You would be surprised how much you can fit in a freezer. If you're looking at longer term. It also, for me, I like having that in the buying ahead of time so I can plan my meals. I don't know about you, but if I don't plan, we eat a lot worse than if I do plan. So I like to make meals up ahead of time, and I like to ground beef a whole bunch all at once and have it frozen or ready to go. So for lunch, we can just make some burritos or, throw something in together really quick that's not difficult. I tend to go, if my fallback meal is on the spot, is usually has something to do with Mexican. So, because our family all loves Mexican food, you can add vegetables to it. If you've ever seen my my posts on Facebook, I love rainbow tacos. That's a protein with a tortilla, usually some kind of shredded lettuce or cabbage. I like to use purple cabbage a lot of times because it's a nice pop of color for the rainbow. Put in your raw cheese, you've got some tomatoes, whatever vegetables, peppers you want to add. Rainbow tacos, people, and every child, what child doesn't want to eat a rainbow taco? I'm just telling you, it's a no-brainer. So Local Harvest will have farmers, and also get to know your butcher. Become a friend with the local the butcher at the grocery store. When I first moved here, I didn't know about Local Harvest, so I went to the butcher and I asked. I said, "Is there any way?" Now this wasn't at the big chain stores. They see me coming at Walmart or wherever, and I've gotten to know all my produce managers and everybody because they're like, "Gosh, she's going to ask questions." Great, but be that person who asks the questions. It's okay. But if you go to the butcher, you can ask about, a lot of times they want to have your business as much as they can. So if you can do a special order. So I was able to get free range fryers, what they call, which would be the entire hen. And you can use that whole, I use everything, like not just for the meat, but I use the bones to make bone broth. You can do all kinds of great stuff with it. So get to know the butcher. You can buy those. Maybe you might get 6. I bought a box of 6 one time. That was really great. And if you don't want to spend that much all at once, go in with a friend, split it. Also raising your own, hey, why not? If you don't have a homeowners association that discourages you from doing it, having chickens, having small animals like cattle might be, you're going to need some land for that, but why not, right? Another great source of protein. This is Pure Protein Complete. My family loves this, so if you're looking at being economical, going ahead and having some meal replacement options. Sometimes if there's not a lot that I'm not feeling super hungry, but I know I need to take care of my temple, I'm more apt to skip a meal, and I know I shouldn't do that. That's not good for me. I will do intermittent fasting sometimes, but ultimately, if I'm working out and I'm going hard, I need to have something. So Pure Protein Complete is a really good option. They have 2 delicious flavors. Of course, it also has amino acids and a 5 protein blend. So you've got to know your source, and Young Living has a really good source of protein as well. Also, we talked about omegas and why omega-3 is so important. Omega-Gize combines the power of 3 supplements, the omega-3 acids, vitamin D, and CoQ10, which is good for the heart. So vitamin D3, by the way, that's why it's Omega-Gize 3. So you want to make sure that you're getting the proper amounts of those fatty acids. You want to make sure that you need them for, of course, your brain, but also for your heart, your eye, and your joints, your eyes and your joints. So what other things do you use? Maybe for dairy. Dairy farmers are also available on Local Harvest. You can go get raw fruits and raw milk, raw cheeses. In the certain places, it's illegal to buy raw dairy products, but you can do it others. So just know your state laws. And my understanding is that, like in Texas, you can go directly to the farmer and you can purchase it, but he can't sell raw dairy at a store, like a health food store or something either. So I know olive oil is something, grains are all things that you can purchase through co-ops. Of course, we have einkorn now. We have the einkorn berries that you can purchase, which is an unhybridized einkorn grain that Young Living grows on its farm in Mona, Utah, as well as in France. So you can grind your wheat berries and make your own flour now. So lots of options out there. Check it out. Make sure that you're getting a really good source, and then share it with us so we know. Also, things like making sure that you're getting the most out of your supplements. Super Cal Plus is something that goes a long way when it comes to supporting your bones. If you even think about it tonight, I was listening to another conference call, magnesium. Not being minerally deficient can actually cause a lot of issues with your emotions. Magnesium is needed to help you fight depression, and as far as keeping you from feeling anxious. So these are types of making sure that you're staying healthy economically. Putting these on your essential rewards order are a really good thing to do. Also, you want to make sure if you're spending all your money on good quality produce, you can't get all your minerals and vitamins from the produce and from the meats that you're purchasing, especially those of you who are vegan or vegetarians. It's really good to have a good source of minerals as well. I mentioned earlier the einkorn products. There's no preservatives. There are, when you start looking at the value, this is a pancake and waffle mix, but Young Living also has just the basic gluten-free flours. You've got your einkorn granola. You have the wheat berries that you can get. So there's lots of options when it comes to the einkorn products, and getting them when you purchase it through Young Living's Essential Rewards. You can get on a while go. So we're talking about you're not paying extra for all the heavier products to be shipped to you. So it's a really good value. We don't eat a lot of flour in our house. I used to use it a lot, but we don't really utilize it as much, except for breads. But for the most part, and I buy tortillas separately at the store. So it's just something that eventually I would love to start using more and more of my einkorn products. And I love that I can give it to my kids and I don't feel concerned about, what they're eating and the types of grains that they're consuming. Vitality oils. I'm sure all of you who loves vitality oils, me. I mentioned earlier about a vitality oil is different from the traditional bottle of oil that you're going to have. So this is, you have your colored labels here, but then you also have your white labels, and those are going to be your vitality, or in Europe, they're called your plus, or in Canada. So when you start looking at those, you can use those for internal consumption, so dietary use. So using them in baking and cooking, and a little bit goes a long way. So just remember that. Okay, using essential oils, they're so safe and effective. Price per drop. I have a price per drop sheet that I'll add a link to whenever I post this class. It's amazing when you start looking at the price per drop of every essential oil. I mean, I probably spent 40 cents this evening putting an oil in my diffuser, and it was very calming to my entire household. I wonder what that was. Can you think of an oil that would be calming? And then earlier today, when we needed to get a lot of stuff done, I probably doubled the amount that I normally would get, but I probably spent like closer to 75 cents getting us all excited and going and raring to go with our oils. So you can take their oils internally with your vitality oils. You can take them, you can inhale them through diffusion, or of course take them topically, just like is shown in the pictures here. And we only trust Young Living essential oils. Of course, we all understand the economics of healthy living cannot be complete without essential oils. So the best, most cost-effective way to get started is a premium starter kit. That includes your 12 oils, plus you get your diffuser. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Does anybody agree with me? That's just a no-brainer. You get your Thieves household cleaning supply. So that's a little packet, a sachet. Pour that into another bottle and fill it with water, and you can clean your whole house. Cleaned my whole house today. I mean, I know it's safe. I know it's effective. Economics of healthy living. I mean, I want to be able to walk on my floors, know my kids are eating off the counters. They do that. They sit in the bathtub where I've used something that is not going to be damaging to their largest organ, their skin. Of course, there's your Ningxia Red packets as well. So everything that you're going to need to get started with the Young Living lifestyle, your oils, your Thieves, and your Ningxia Red are right there in that premium starter kit. And whenever you purchase it in the kit, it's a savings of $26. So why not get started? I mean, it's a no-brainer. The Feelings Kit is another option. I mentioned it earlier as far as we are a whole person. We're body, mind, and spirit. And so whenever you start thinking about working through some emotions or some challenges, when you look at the collection, it's $181. But if you were to purchase every single one of those oils singly, which they only come in the 5 milliliter, you save $69. You save $70 if you purchase them as a kit. Plus, if you get them on Essential Rewards, you get the points back for it. You've probably heard me say this before. Say it with me now. It's a no-brainer, right? Okay. What about your personal care products? Oh my goodness, I've done an entire class on this. And as you can see on the screen, there's all kinds of ingredients that we don't want in our personal care products. Again, your skin's your largest organ. I can't say it enough. So be sure that you're reading your labels and understanding what all of those words mean. And then getting a source. With Young Living, I'm able to switch out all of the cleaners I used to use for my entire household to one cleaner. I'm able to switch out the personal care products that I used before to using the Young Living skincare, to using the Young Living lotions and shampoos and conditioners and soaps. Every sink in my home has a Thieves hand soap. And I'm able to just buy the replacement, the refillable bottle every month. And I don't have to buy a new bottle every month of the soap. I have a refill and I pour it in there and I fill it with water. And it's so economical. It's better for the environment than wasting excuse me, wasting all of those containers too. So know what you're getting. With Young Living, I've been able to ditch all of the stuff that I would have gotten at the store and switch to my Young Living store, and then I get the value of my those products because they're quality products. But I'm also getting Essential Rewards points back, and I have now I'm able to share it with other people. And Young Living sends me a thank you check every month. I mean, it all is something that has been beneficial for me. So what you put on your skin totally matters. It's your largest organ. So what are you putting on your skin? In just 26 seconds after exposure to chemicals, they can be found in every organ in the body. And that's not Dr. McCullough, or that's not, somebody else who's naturally minded. That is the US EPA saying that. Yeah. So that, that's pretty important. And it's from their top 10 killer household chemicals booklet. Okay. Bioaccumulation. So as it starts to, you start thinking about all of the things that you're using over the course of the day. In a book I helped co-author called the Nutrition 101, we talk about 30 ways to poison yourself before breakfast. So look at all the things in your personal care products. I don't have to worry about that anymore because I have Thieves toothpaste, and I have Young Living lavender lotions and soaps, and my Thieves hand soap. So all of the things that you would use, your deodorants, look at the aluminum content in those. Look at what you're putting on in your makeups. All of the things that what we call bioaccumulation, which is the body burden that your body is holding on to, taking on over all of the little bits that you're adding. They're like, oh, it's just a trace amount. Well, what happens when a trace amount adds up? What happens? So our Young Living lifestyle is believing that we are going to make a change for our homes, for our families, and for ourselves, that we want to live lives free of chemicals. We want to be in a place where we can breathe well in our home and not be concerned about the things that our children are exposed to through the products. The Seed to Seal promise, from our farm to your home, is so important to Young Living. We take it very seriously. So it's something that we continue to add farms around the world just to meet those standards and to make sure that we're supplying the best products, because more and more people want them now. The ART skincare system, as you can see here, this is a great one. We just did a class this week called About Face that you can catch on 7 Oily Days. And it was the total for the ART skincare system is $118, but if you get the collection, you can save $6. And someone might say, well, $6, that's not a whole lot. Well, guess what? $6 is $6, and I could get a vitality oil with that $6. So yes, I will. What about your Savvy kit? When you switch your makeup out, you go from this $150 kit, which also it has your foundation, it has a blush, 3 eyeshadows, it has a lip, a gloss, a spray, a brush, and your lavender, 5 milliliter lavender. It's a savings of $50. So you're getting started with all of those great products, and you're saving money too. Say with me, no brainer. Okay, the Thieves Essential Rewards Kit. So look at the savings that you have here. You get, I'm sorry, I'm trying to close these things down. Can you guys see the savings? I mean, all of those different products. I mean, $156.50 is your wholesale price, and it's totally worth every single penny. But who doesn't want to save money? And you're getting these things that you're going to use over time. How long does it take you to use 2 14 milliliter bottles of Thieves? Not milliliter, 14, it's a 14 liter. It's more than that. I can't read it from here. 14 something. I can't remember off the top of my head. 14 ounces? 14 ounces maybe. There we go. Okay, it's not milliliters. Goodness, Laura. That would be this little. So it does take a while because the Thieves, all of the Thieves products are so highly concentrated. So the Thieves Household Cleaner, highly concentrated, so you can use a little at a time. I have several bottles of this that I've accumulated over time, and I sometimes have to do giveaways for it because it's just over time, it just collects. Also looking at your Essential Rewards program, for the first 3 months you're on it, you get 10% of your order back. So for every $100 I spend, I'm getting $10 back for the first 3 months. Then after that, it's 20% back. And then after that, it's 25%. We love it because we're earning free credits. You also get loyalty products throughout the year. Every year you get a loyalty oil, and then sometimes they'll just send you a surprise oil too. So the first year you're on, you do get 3, 6, 9, and 12 months, you do get a free oil. Pretty cool. Young Living also has what's called Wild Go and Wild Go Plus. These are shipping options, kind of similar to what you would think of like with Amazon Prime. Wild Go gives you 12 shipping credits, plus an additional one for your free Essential Rewards points. So after those Essential Rewards points accumulate, then you can get one of those, one order that's going to have everything on it. So that's pretty cool. You're going to be able to get that shipped for free. So it's a flat rate. So it's nice because it can be very heavy, but usually it ships within 2 to 3 days. And if you want to overnight it, which I've done this several times, it's just $10 more. Who doesn't want that? I, of course, do the Wild Go Plus because I'm always shipping products to people or to myself, because now that I have Wild Go Plus, I can do multiple orders in a month. And I also like to do Essential Rewards redemption. So that's pretty cool too. And I am purchasing high amounts of high volumes of essential oils and products because I have classes, I'm doing vendor fairs, and of course my family consumes a lot. So we are redeeming a lot of these credits. Okay, where am I now? So what questions do you have? I'm going to exit out of here and get back into the main where I can see my cursor. What questions do you guys have for me? I'm going to go look at the chat and see the comments that we have, and see what kind of sharing you guys can do. Okay, the question, free range or organic is smaller. Okay, usually when you're talking about the chicken. So typically your free range / organic chicken is going to be the same thing. There's different, they'll say organic chicken, and there's going to be free range organic. So usually free range is you can have organic that's chicken that's not free range. But if you see free range, that's usually going to be like probably the top quality, and those are usually going to be smaller than the chickens, the birds that are going to be genetically modified a lot of times. All right, and Keely answered that. There you go. And then Danielle mentioned you can use the vitality oils instead of herbs if needed. Use the toothpick method because a little goes a long way. So taking a toothpick, oregano was one that I take a toothpick and put it in, and you don't even use a full drop. A full drop would almost ruin it, a spaghetti sauce. Okay. Oh, cool. Okay, so Penny's recommending a nurse in her area of East Texas who has established farm, peas, fresh poultry, fresh beef. Check out Jester D Farm on Facebook. Cool. Very cool. Thank you for that. Check out the ones that are local to you. I see this Wild Go Plus. Everybody loves it. Loving being able to redeem points. Yes, definitely saving you points. So I think everyone is on board with, we all want to have the best quality for the least amount of price, but we also know that getting a high quality item is going to take an investment. So what I look at it, instead of what something costs more, people say, well, it's so expensive to live healthy. I don't like to look at things and say that they're cheap or they're expensive, or I like to look at things and say, what's the investment? What's the value? Because I want to be someone who makes a good investment and gets high value. You can spend, I was told one time, you spend money on your mattress and your shoes because that's where you spend your life. And people can look at that and think, oh, I'll just buy these cheap shoes and they'll get me by for a time. But you know what? When I first got my first job and I worked for myself, worked as an adult, I invested in some good shoes. Now, they still weren't probably what I would spend on shoes now because I'm older, but I found that I was not having to replace them as often. So you might be buying something that looks cheaper right now, less expensive, but in the long run, what's the value going to be on that product too? So think about it, change your mindset. The economics of healthy living is really a mindset of value and investment versus just seeing the close range of what's cheapest. So many times we get caught up on a dollar sign, and we don't take for granted the fact that it's not necessarily a better product. You might have to replace that product and spend as much or more than what you would do if you waited and you were able to purchase the better quality product. So I would just encourage you with that the economics of healthy living is really a mindset that you can do this. You guys can have the very best quality and you can get it at the very best price. It just takes planning. It takes some doing some research whenever you're looking at produce, when you're looking at meats. But the good thing about it with Young Living is you don't really have to do the research. They've already done it for you. So I would just encourage you to take advantage of getting those points on Essential Rewards, getting your free things, getting your collections, and being the healthiest you that you can be. So God bless you guys. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. I hope this was valuable, and I hope that it helped you and that you're going to go share this information with someone else, because it's really going to be, I believe that this is the type of information that's really helpful, that moms can help one another. And what Joanna just said, applying the principles of the class. She's seen this class before. She's taught this class before. And Keely said the same thing. Taking a little prep time is always worth it, for sure. So you guys have a wonderful evening. Be blessed and go bless somebody else with it. Good night.